Hey everyone, welcome to the Anglийский Benjaminem podcast. I am Benjamin, and this podcast is for people who are learning English. It is mainly for native Russian speakers who are learning English, but don't worry if Russian is not your native language. You will still find this podcast useful if you are learning English. Today's topic is going to be hair. I am a British guy, if you don't know me. I am a British guy living in Russia, and I have a funny story to share with you on the topic of hair. And also, I will talk about some other things related to the topic of hair. So, as you can see, if you are watching this podcast, I don't have too much hair. I am not going bald, but I like to keep my hair short. I like to cut my own hair with hair clippers. Hair clippers, they are the machines that you use to cut your hair very short. Hair clippers have these things called clipper guards or clipper guides, which are these plastic things that you can put onto your hair clippers, which regulate or they keep the length of your hair at a certain length, so you can get special guards. Usually they have numbers like 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. So I like to use hair clippers to cut my hair because personally, to be honest, I don't like going to the barber shop. I don't like going to hairdressers because look, I like speaking to people in lessons because I am an English tutor. My job is to speak to people a lot. I love speaking to people on specific topics, and in lessons we have a specific structure and it's really easy to speak to people. But outside of lessons, I like to just relax. I like to enjoy my peace and quiet, and when I go to a hairdresser's or to a barber shop, I always feel like I have to speak to the barber and I don't really know what to talk about. Every time I go to the barber shop, I always feel like I need to talk about, well, small talk or football, and I don't know much about football. I don't hate football, but I don't know much about football. And every time I go to the barber shop, I always get asked questions about football, especially if I am not in England and the barber realizes that I come from England, and the first thing that people say to English men in another country is, "Oh, what football team do you support?" And when I go to barbers in other countries like Russia, I always pretend to know something about football, even though I know nothing about football. And I just talk about Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal, etc. I don't even know the names of the managers of the teams. I don't even know the main players anymore. I used to when I was a teenager. I knew a little bit, but I didn't know much then, and I definitely don't know much now. So when I go to a barber shop, I feel like I have to speak to the barber or to the hairdresser if it's a lady, and I just don't know what to talk about. The same situation I come across in taxis when I feel like sometimes I have to speak to the taxi driver a lot. In Russia, you don't always have to speak to the taxi driver, but there are occasions, especially when you come back from the airport on the way back home. Usually that's the time when taxi drivers like to talk to you. And when you get off a long flight, personally, I don't like speaking too much. I just want to enjoy peace and quiet, maybe listen to some Russian radio stations, and that's it. So I can speak to people. I enjoy speaking to people, but not at the hairdressers, not not in taxis. I just want peace and quiet. So when I first arrived in Russia, that was about 4 years ago. Well, this podcast is being recorded now. It's December 2024. I arrived in Russia 4 years ago, so December 2020. And back then I did not have hair clippers, and I thought, okay, let's go to a local barber shop to get my hair cut. And the barbershop around the corner from my apartment, it looked like a pretty cool barbershop. It was a trendy, hip, cool looking barbershop. And haircuts cost 1,000 rubles, which for Russia is, look, it's not expensive, but it's not the cheapest haircut you can get in Russia. But at the time, I did not know how much haircuts cost in Russia, because in England, a haircut costs maybe around maybe 10 to 20 pounds. So in today's money, in the 2024 exchange rate, 10 pounds is about, 1,200 rubles, and 2,000 rubles is about 20 pounds is about 2,000 rubles. So I thought, okay, this is 1,000 rubles is a little bit expensive because Russia is much cheaper than the UK. But I thought, okay, maybe haircuts are just more expensive in Russia than they are in England. Maybe that's just how it is. So I went to this barber shop, had some small talk with the barber. Yes, hello, yes, football, yes, Chelsea, Arsenal, Manchester United. Yes, I'm from England, hello, hello. And had a nice conversation with the barber. And he did a good job, and I left and I thought, okay, good. He cut my hair. I asked for long on the top, short on the sides. Long on the top means that you keep your fringe long. A fringe, if you don't know, means your hair goes over your forehead. So if you're watching this podcast, you can see me pointing at my hair. So a fringe is the parts that goes over your forehead. And short on the sides, you get hair clippers and you make the sides short and you keep the top long. Right now, I don't have that kind of a haircut. I just get hair clippers and cut off all of my hair. But back then, I used to have a fringe. And I thought, okay, he did a good job. I did not think anything of it. But later, I was walking around the center of Novosibirsk. And in Novosibirsk, where I live, you have the central market. And in the central market, there are I think 2 barber shops. And I noticed on the window, it said 200 rubles or 250 rubles. And I thought, wow, that's pretty cheap. I need to give this place a try. The other place was 1,000 rubles. And this place is 200 rubles. That's amazing. I need to try it. And the barbers there were really friendly. They come from Central Asia, from Kyrgyzstan, from Uzbekistan. And my barber was called David, and he always did a good job. And yeah, we had small talk. Like, I didn't want to talk, but we had small talk, talked about football, all the usual stuff. And I was happy, 200 rubles. And I gave him a tip, an extra 100 rubles, because I thought 100 rubles is not a lot of money, but I need to show that I'm grateful for the good haircut, and it was only 200 rubles. But later I learned that you don't tip hairdressers or barbers in Russia. It's not the usual, it's not a custom in Russia. People don't usually tip hairdressers in Russia. But later I went back to the barber shop and I asked for David. I said, oh yeah, where's David? He does a good job. Can he cut my hair? And he wasn't there. But this time there was this big guy from Uzbekistan. It was a friendly guy, but he was this big guy. And I need to say, this time it was 2021. So all of you know what was happening across the world in 2021. I'm not going to say the word because I don't want any problems with YouTube. But basically, it was 2021. Everyone was getting sick. You know what was happening at that time. And he was wearing a mask. Most people were wearing masks. And he was not only wearing a mask, he was also wearing this like hospital clothing. They are called scrubs. Scrubs, yeah, they're just clothing that surgeons or nurses wear at a hospital for hygienic reasons. And he was wearing surgeon scrubs. He had a mask on, and he also had this kind of a cap on his head. You know, shower caps, the caps that some people wear in showers to keep their hair dry in the shower. He was wearing this kind of surgeon shower cap thing, and it looked really scary. So I walked in and I saw this big man with really big hairy arms and he came up to me and said in Russian, "Sit down in the chair." And I thought, okay, this is quite scary. It's not the most typical haircut. And in Russia, I forgot to mention, barbers wash your hair. In England, that does not always happen. Barbers do not always wash your hair. So it was quite unexpected for me to have my hair washed here in Russia. So this big guy with his big arms, he was washing my hair and doing his thing. And I thought, okay, all right, yeah, he's washing my hair. And this guy, he did not just cut my hair. He tried to be like an artist. He really did his best. And I thought, wow, this is only 200 rubles. And this guy is literally treating me like he is a sculptor. I am a sculpture and he's a sculptor. And he's really being like an artist and yeah, really paying attention to every detail. And he was cutting the side of my hair. And normally barbers use clippers for the side of my hair because it's quick and it's easy. But for some reason, he was using scissors and he was taking a long time cutting my hair. And usually barbers or hairdressers, when you have hair all over you, trimmed hair, usually they get a brush or a blow dryer to brush away or to blow away all the hair on your shoulders. But this guy, the surgeon, let's call him the surgeon barber from Uzbekistan, he did not use a blow dryer or a brush. He blew on me with his breath. He lowered his mask and he blew the hair off of my shoulders. And I thought, look, this is not the best time to be blowing on someone. It is 2021, everyone's getting sick, and here you are blowing all over me. And it was literally like a sculptor working with wood. Like when you work with wood, you get sawdust. Sawdust is the dust that comes off of wood, and you blow on the wood like to blow the dust away. He was and when he blew on me, I kind of felt a little bit of saliva on the side of my face. Not much, but it's like he sprayed a little bit of his moisture onto me. And I thought, this is literally the best time to get to have a man blowing on me when everyone is maintaining 1.5 meters distance away from each other. He's just right next to me, lowering his mask, blowing his bodily juices all over me. It was disgusting, but it was so funny. I couldn't believe it. And I just sat there quietly, saying, yep, football, Arsenal, Manchester, whatever I was talking about. But I was too embarrassed to say anything because he was this big guy, and I'm not, I mean, I'm not going to get in a fight with this big guy, basically. And also it was only 200 rubles, so I'm not going to be the most, I'm not going to complain. I was being really British. I was just taking it and accepting it. And, and then afterwards he went to this cabinet where they keep all the hair gels and perfumes and lotions and stuff. And I'm not the kind of person who likes perfume and lotions. I hate it. I hate these cosmetic things. And he went up to me and he started spraying this cheap cologne, this cheap men's perfume on me. And I didn't say anything, but I just thought, okay, this is what he does. And he was like really like showing me all the different bottles and stuff. And I just said, whatever, it's okay. Just, it's okay. Thank you very much. And then I thought it was over, but it was not over. Mr. Barber Surgeon, he decided to give me some chiropractic treatment, which means he wanted to fix my back. And I had no idea he was going to do this. I had not mentioned anything about my neck or back. He just said, wait, in Russian, like, подожди, wait. And then he decided to like massage the back of my neck, and then he clicked my spine, like he clicked it. And luckily he did a good job. Maybe he was a professional chiropractor and he was just making some extra money as a barber, but I was quite intimidated by him because he was wearing these surgeon clothes, clicking my back, and I said, wow, well, what's going on here? This is not expected. But he clicked my back. My back felt amazing afterwards. And of course I had to give him a tip. I gave him an extra 100 ruble tip. So I don't know if he was expecting a tip, but I felt like, okay, he did so much work. He blew all over me. And he gave me all this cheap perfume and he clicked my back. I have to give him an extra 100 rubles. So I thanked him, I gave him the 100 rubles, and I never went back ever again. But that was the most memorable haircut I have ever had in my life, and I'm so happy it happened. I wasn't very happy about the kind of spit on the side of my face, but whatever. It was the funniest experience. So if you are a barber or a hairdresser, maybe you should take note of this experience, and you should want to make your experiences with your customers very memorable. All right. Well, I haven't had my hair cut since in Russia. Well, I haven't gone to a barber shop or to a hairdresser since. I have just cut my own hair. And yeah, I don't want to go to a barber shop ever again in my life because I'm sick and tired of talking to barbers and and yeah, I just don't want to have any more experiences. Anyway, what else can I talk about? Oh yeah, beards. So speaking about hair, beards. Look, I don't have the best beard. I keep my face cleanly shaven, meaning that there is no beard, there's no facial hair on my face. Sometimes I let a little bit of stubble grow, but I shave. I have a fun fact. I shave using a cutthroat razor. I don't use normal razors. I use cutthroat razors. Why did I decide to use cutthroat razors? Well, if you don't know what a cutthroat razor is, it's the very dangerous type of razor. You have safety razors, which you buy in the supermarkets, and then you have cutthroat razors, which barbers and some other men use. Not many people use them at home, but I bought it because I think I saw someone on TV using it, some actor. Maybe it was Peaky Blinders. I can't remember where I saw it, but I thought this looks so cool. And I learned how to shave using a cutthroat razor. But when I first got a cutthroat razor, it was really bad. I got a lot of cuts all over my face. It was terrible. But when you learn how to use a cutthroat razor, it's great because you can get a really close shave. It's a really good razor, and you feel like a real man when you shave with a cutthroat razor. It's really manly. It's a really fun thing to do. But if you do decide to get a cutthroat razor, I suggest practice on your legs or on your arm hair just to get a feel for the razor so you know how to use it. Because when I first got this razor, I just immediately started using it on my face and I just cut my face, and it was not a good idea. But now I don't have problems with it. Usually I don't have problems. But I love shaving with cutthroat razors. But another thing to know about cutthroat razors is if you use the razors with disposable blades are the metal parts, the sharp metal parts. If you use disposable blades that you can throw away, it is so cheap. I bought a pack of, I think it's 200 blades or 150 blades, and it has lasted me for over a year and a half, or just over a year, and it only costs like $4. Can you imagine if you are a man? Normally men spend a lot of money on razors. Like if you go to the supermarket, you can see these packs of Gillette and other razor companies, and it's quite expensive. Like a pack of like 5 or 6 razors is like, I don't know, $6 for high quality razors. And if you get cutthroat razor blades, they are so cheap. So you can save a lot of money if you use a cutthroat razor, but you have to be very careful. I was thinking about getting an electric shaver. Maybe I should get one, but the thing is, when I shave, I like to listen to podcasts in Russian because I am learning Russian. And you should listen to this podcast when you are having a shave or if you are walking. You need to use your free time to listen to language podcasts if you're learning another language. So when I have a shave, I like to listen to something in Russian, and I think an electric shaver would make it difficult for me to hear what I'm listening to. So maybe it is not the best idea. But maybe I should get them because they are quite convenient. They are easy to use, and yeah, they're quite useful, electric shavers. But I like using my cutthroat razor. I feel like a man. All right, well, what else can I talk about? Well, to be honest, I don't know anything about women's hair because, I just don't care about women's hair. It's not a topic of interest for me. I don't really know what to say about women's hair other than that, it's not a topic for me. I guess I could talk a little bit about hair dye. Hair dye is it's not good for you. It's quite unhealthy. I don't understand why a lot of people like to dye their hair. It's okay to go grey. If you're getting older, if you are in your 40s, it's okay to have grey hair. It is not unattractive. There is no problem with having grey hair. So I don't understand why people buy all these products and dye their hair and essentially poison themselves, because hair dye, it goes into your bloodstream and you can poison yourself if you use hair dye. I mean, you probably will be okay if you use hair dye, but why would you want to put these synthetic chemicals into your system? It's not a very good thing. But if you do use hair dye, look, I don't care. We can still be friends if you use hair dye. I'm just interested why. I don't personally understand it. My friend, he bleached his hair, so he had bleach blonde hair. It looked really cool. I mean, yeah, it does look pretty cool, but I don't really like the idea of having bleach in my bloodstream. It's just not my cup of tea, to be honest. Speaking about beauty, you also have hair transplants. Now, a lot of men, of course, go bald, and a lot of men have receding hairlines. A receding hairline is when your hair is it goes back. So your forehead becomes more and more clear because your hairline is going back. If you're watching this podcast, you will see what I'm doing with my hands. Your hairline is where your hair starts. A receding hairline. To recede means to go back. So a lot of men with receding hairlines, or men who are going bald, they pay a lot of money to get hair transplants. And to be honest, I don't understand why it's such a bad thing to go bald. It's not bad at all. Going bald is fine. I don't see the problem with it. But a lot of people feel self-conscious about it, and you should not feel self-conscious about being bald. There's nothing wrong with being bald. I mean, I don't know how attractive it is for some women, but maybe it's okay. I've heard some women really like bald men. They think it's a really masculine thing, but of course every woman has their own tastes, so I can't speak for women. I'm not a woman, so I don't know. All right, guys. Well, let me know what you think. If you have anything you would like to add, or if you would like to practice your English writing skills, use the comment section to do so. It's the best opportunity for you to practice your English writing skills. And don't worry about making a mistake, because you need to make mistakes in order to learn. So make some mistakes, practice your English writing skills. Nobody cares if your English is not 100% perfect. It's a great way to practice. So press the like button, press the subscribe button, and if you want to, I have a Boosty page. So Boosty is the Russian donation website. Don't feel like you have to. Please don't feel like you have to. But if you want to make a little donation, I have a Boosty page in the description of this video. So feel free to do that if you want to, but don't feel like you have to. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching or for listening to this podcast, and I hope to see you again next time. And bye for now. Thank you.